productive. Then we'll start to diversify. Now I would like input. If I could get some input, that would be very helpful as to what you think should happen at the state. So I'd like some input, please.
I think you should adopt the Granholm plan. It sounds like you've mentioned all the things that Jennifer has in her plan. You mentioned health care, you mentioned education, you didn't mention her $4,000 school, what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word. But it sounds like you've hit on all of Jennifer's points in her economic plan, so I think you ought to adopt it.
About a particular topic, like he's bringing up and mentioned something specific.
If you have a suggestion, I would like to hear it, please.
As an economist, practical things, do you have any suggestions? I know that you are expert in international trade.
My expertise is international, not domestic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pass.
Okay.
This gentleman's been waiting patiently.
All right. I had another specific question, but this time it's something that probably affects most of us.
Okay, I'm asking for suggestions.
And
If I
it is
could
a
have
suggestion.
Okay.
It is a suggestion.
All right.
I would suggest that you adopt Jennifer Granholm's in specific.
Could you explain what is the Jennifer Granholm plan? Because
Yeah.
I want to hear.
Not her plan. I'm talking about something specific. Jennifer Granholm in her plan proposed a $4,000 for every student in Michigan, every college student, a $4,000, basically a scholarship. Does the Dick DeVos plan have any provision that's anything like this aside from general economic recovery that's hopeful?
Could you explain? I didn't just ask the question. It's a question.
It's a suggestion.
So the way we'll
I
pose
would
this right
suggest
now,
you
and rather than
adopt it.
questioning what the plans are, we will say, we would like you to consider that you implement something or offer us some kind of scholarship. And if we can take comments in that fashion right now, please, offer as much as you want, but rather than the questions, we'll pose it as a suggestion.
Okay, I'll write that down. I should let you know that the whole time I was in the legislature, I supported that plan, and that started a long time ago under the Engler administration, and I did support it every year as far as having that special scholarship for students that are able to meet certain guidelines. So, suggestions, please. Yes?
Friendly business environment.
Okay.
The more jobs we get here, the more businesses we get here, the more jobs will be created. Because remember, employers do not hire people because they like them. They hire people because they need them. So you make the pie bigger if you have more jobs. If you have more employers, you have more jobs, there's more money, the pie gets bigger. Then we have money for the $4,000 scholarship. We have money for health care. We have money for tourism. There's money, but you got to have the employers first. Friendly business.
Thank you, I've got it. Yes, sir.
Reallocate funds away from the criminal justice system and incarceration. It's alleged, I don't know if this is fact, but that many who are in prison are there for petty drug crimes and are not a threat to the community. But the cost, of course, of incarcerating someone is $30,000 plus per year. Reallocate to it's expensive, and look at our priorities and put in areas that can bring us a much greater return.
It is very expensive. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I think you should support a universal health care program, especially seeing as the big three automakers have all stated that the biggest cost per car is the health insurance. Most figures I've seen are around $3,500. That means that it costs more, which means that the big three automakers are not able to compete, are not able to do what they need to do. Their costs are too high. I think that you need to have a universal health care system at the very least for people of 0 to 18 years or 0 to 25 years. We've seen this happen in many other states. In Vermont, it's been a very successful program. The city of San Francisco has a program such as this with 0 to 25 years being covered under universal health care. This also supports preventative care. It's also an economic issue in that this health care that you're providing for these children is a preventative, so that when they go back and they have to go to the emergency room, which then we as taxpayers have to pay for, we don't have to deal with that problem because they're preventative care. You don't have kids that are going in that are going deaf because they have ear infections that their parents can't take care of because they don't have the insurance that they need. And then we have to pay for that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say that in order to promote a friendly environment, I think we should, as Michigan, keep criminals in prison so if that's
I understand. I think what he's saying is the ones that we might be able to find some alternative for. There's some that you just can't let out. You're right. We have to make sure that those
Non-violent criminals.
There's a kind of couple of different classifications, but yeah. Yes, sir.
I'd like to see the state of Michigan take a more active, aggressive role toward fraud within the state government.
Yes.
I think we've been lax for a number of years. If you want to find money, it's all in fraud. Because right now, fraud in the U.S. is just ready to top $1 billion a year. So, in going and seeing what's going on with fraud and deal with it, it is a huge issue. And I don't think the state government has put resources or any attention onto those issues at the state, county, and local districts.
Yeah, fraud is a big issue, and that is one reason why I got subpoena power, because of the corruption and waste at the ISDs in Oakland County, and it's very important to me, because what a waste of money. Now, all of us were pretty generous folks, but not to waste it.
Not just the waste, but you need to show you need to deter.
Deter, yes.
That's where you're gonna save money.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
It's not a political issue, but for me it's an important issue. In Michigan they use something they call Chicago method of math, or all everyday math. And I think this is one of the causes why American is very weak in math. All over the United States, I think the result in math is very low compared to the rest of the world.
Mathematics skills?
Yes. And
yes,
this is
out,
and it's not political issue, so it's not between parties, so this is advice.
No.
Other countries try to check it, and they find out that this Chicago method or everyday math is the main reason for it. And the result you see in university, and you see in classes, and everywhere. People that get educated purely by this is not having a huge success with math. Parents that at home presented the program usually succeed much more than the people otherwise. And this is not political issue.
No, it's not.
So maybe it should be changed, and this is the benefit for the
math and science, we need to do better. No doubt about it. Thank you.
And the Chicago is the problem. I'm telling you, if you want after it, this is the problem. They have this crazy idea that make it wrong.
Kind of along those lines of education, I just wanted to comment that the state of Michigan has some renowned post-secondary institutions. We bring in a lot of people from out of state and international as well to gain their secondary education in this state. And I would like to suggest that we try to bring that same reputation for our, elementary and high schools and, our secondary education, bring that type of reputation to the state. And again, that would be by, bringing in the resources and bringing in more funding to education.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other suggestions? Yes, sir.
I would suggest eliminating electronic voting machines in Michigan, because it's been shown that they're very insecure, and a number of tests have shown in recent history that people could enter false information into these machines, and it's just incredible when you think that a person could be elected when the citizens didn't vote for them, theoretically.
This gentleman's talking about the electronic voting machines. Under Help America Vote Act, the federal government put $3.86 billion, and they said to all of us across the country all at once that we had to buy new machines. 90% of the machines in Oakland County were already the scan type. They made us change to these other machines. 65% in the state were already the optical scan. But the good thing, the Secretary of State in this state did something somewhat unusual, which I'm glad to say, and that's that each one of our machines requires a paper backup. There's that paper. We're one of the few, we're in the shrinking number of states, I shouldn't say few, but a little over half now do it electronically. And you have a very good point. What we're finding is that in these electronic machines, first of all, I have to complain just a little bit about the federal government. They went ahead with the $3.86 billion, but they didn't set the standards first, but required us to buy them. They didn't give the authority to the Election Assistance Commission, which is supposed to oversee it. They didn't even give them the authority to even make determinations. And so in this country, we would spend about $3 billion on machines that there weren't standards set for, that the commission that's supposed to oversee them was not given the authority, and they weren't fully funded. And now, I think in those states, which is not Michigan, we're lucky in Michigan, we have the verifiable paper trail, but I think this young man is absolutely right. What we're going to go from is hanging chads to cyber chads, and what we know now is some of those machines can be hacked into. It can be hacked into, and the number can be changed, and there's no trail to figure out that it's been changed. What a terrible thing that's happened, because now there's going to be arguments from now until for years over this, because you know what, if I